7 signs a person with an avoidant attachment style is falling in love with you, even if they never say it. When someone has an avoidant attachment style, love doesn't arrive loudly. It doesn't announce itself with grand declarations, constant texting, or emotional confessions. Instead, it sneaks in quietly, often disguised as small behavioral shifts that most people overlook. And this is where many relationships go wrong, because avoidant love doesn't look like anxious love, romantic movie love, or even secure love. It looks restrained. It looks cautious. It looks like someone fighting their own instincts while slowly letting you matter. So if you're with someone emotionally distant and wondering whether you're just convenient or genuinely important, this video will help you see the truth beneath the surface. These are 7 subtle but powerful signs that a person with an avoidant attachment style is actually falling in love with you. The first sign is that they start letting you into their routine, not just their time. Avoidants protect their independence fiercely. Their routines are sacred because routines equal control, and control equals safety. So when they begin to consistently include you in their everyday life, not just dates, not just late-night conversations, but ordinary moments like errands, downtime, or quiet evenings, that's a big deal. This isn't accidental. It's a subconscious restructuring of their internal world to make space for you. They may not say, "I miss you," but they'll check in at predictable times. They'll show up when they said they would, and they'll subtly align their schedule with yours. For an avoidant, this is intimacy in its earliest and most honest form. The second sign is that they begin sharing personal stories without being prompted. Avoidants don't open up easily, especially about their past, their family, or moments where they felt vulnerable or ashamed. These stories are usually buried deep because revisiting them activates emotions they learned long ago to suppress. So when they start volunteering personal memories, especially ones that aren't flattering, it means they trust you emotionally, even if they don't consciously label it that way. They may casually mention childhood experiences, past heartbreaks, or moments where they felt misunderstood. And they'll often do it in a low-key, almost offhand way, as if it just came up. That's their way of testing emotional safety without fully stepping into emotional exposure. The third sign is that their pullbacks become shorter and softer. Avoidants are known for distancing themselves when things get emotionally close. That part doesn't disappear overnight, even when they fall in love. What changes is how long they disappear and how they come back. Early on, they may vanish emotionally for days or weeks. But when feelings deepen, those gaps shorten. And instead of returning cold or detached, they come back warmer, more present, and more intentional. They might not apologize directly, but you'll feel a subtle shift. More effort, more attentiveness, more consistency. This is an avoidant learning, slowly and imperfectly, that closeness doesn't automatically mean loss of self. The fourth sign is that they start showing care through actions rather than words. Avoidants struggle with verbal expressions of love because words feel binding, exposing, and irreversible. Actions feel safer. So instead of saying how they feel, they'll do things that quietly communicate attachment. They'll remember small details about you. They'll help you solve problems without being asked. They'll show up when it matters, even if they don't know how to emotionally support you in traditional ways. This kind of love is practical, grounded, and deeply sincere, even if it lacks emotional flourish. For an avoidant, love is something you do, not something you say. The fifth sign is that they start tolerating emotional conversations longer than before. This one is huge. Avoidants typically shut down, deflect, or withdraw when conversations become emotionally intense. Their nervous system interprets emotional closeness as danger, but when they're falling in love, something shifts. They may still feel uncomfortable, but they don't immediately escape. They stay a little longer. They listen more than they used to. They don't rush to fix, dismiss, or exit. And even if they struggle to respond perfectly, the fact that they remain engaged tells you everything. This is an avoidant actively overriding their default survival response because you matter more than their discomfort. The sixth sign is that they begin to show subtle jealousy or concern over losing you. Avoidants rarely admit jealousy because it implies emotional dependence, and that terrifies them. But when they're falling in love, their fear of loss quietly emerges. You may notice small comments, shifts in tone, or changes in behavior when they sense competition or emotional distance from you. They might ask more questions about your plans, seem quieter when you mention someone else, or become more attentive afterward. This isn't manipulation. It's attachment surfacing before they know how to handle it. Their nervous system is waking up to the possibility that you matter enough to lose. The seventh and final sign is that they start envisioning a future that includes you, even indirectly. Avoidants avoid future talk because it feels like a trap. Commitment implies expectations, responsibility, and vulnerability. But when they're falling in love, the future starts slipping into their language. Not in dramatic ways, but subtle ones. We could do that someday. You'd probably like this place. If we ever... These small phrases are emotional milestones. They signal that you're no longer just part of their present. You're being integrated into their long-term mental framework. For an avoidant, this is one of the clearest signs of love, because it means they're allowing themselves to imagine continuity with you. Now, here's the most important thing to understand. Avoidant love moves slowly, unevenly, and often silently, but it is not shallow. In fact, when an avoidant falls in love, it's usually after a long internal battle between desire and fear. What looks like hesitation on the outside is often deep emotional processing on the inside. They are constantly asking themselves whether closeness is safe, whether they can trust you, and whether they can stay without losing themselves. And when they choose to stay, again and again, that choice matters more than any dramatic confession ever could. If you're with an avoidant and you see these signs, the worst thing you can do is rush them or demand emotional performances they aren't ready for. Love doesn't grow through pressure, it grows through safety. The more emotionally regulated, grounded, and secure you remain, the safer it feels for them to keep opening up. And paradoxically, the less you chase reassurance, the more they feel free to offer it. Avoidant love isn't loud. It doesn't chase. It doesn't beg. But when it's real, it's consistent, intentional, and deeply loyal once trust is established. And if you learn to recognize these quiet signals, you'll stop doubting yourself and start understanding the language they've been speaking all along. If this helped you understand avoidant attachment on a deeper level, make sure you like this video and subscribe for more psychology-based relationship insights. Share this with someone who's confused by mixed signals, and remember, real connection isn't always loud. Sometimes the quietest love is the most honest. I'll see you in the next video.